They flagged my suitcase like a live bomb. The baggage handler shouted, passengers stared, and phones came out. But the logo stamped on that dangerous case, my airline's name, meant I wasn't the one in trouble. Someone on this ground crew was about to learn what accountability sounds like on a live PA system. The morning air at Hartsfield-Jackson felt like recycled coffee and jet fuel, the kind of airport oxygen that wakes you up whether you want it to or not. Announcements braided overhead, final calls, seat upgrades, a lost stuffed dinosaur waiting at gate B12. I rolled a matte grey suitcase with a discreet metal plate near the handle, a small triangle logo, silver on silver, that most travellers wouldn't notice. The ground crew should have. It was my airline's operations mark. I kept my blazer buttoned, hair pulled into a no-nonsense knot. Badge flipped backward, habit from years of unannounced field visits. People act truer when they don't know who's grading them. Today, I wasn't flying for the miles. I was flying for the truth hidden in our ground times, those precious minutes that decide whether an airline feels like a system or a shrug. At the check counter, a young agent with the calm of a good barista smiled. "Morning. Any hazardous items, power tools, or lithium batteries?" "None declared," I said. True enough. Declared was doing heavy lifting. He tagged the suitcase for San Francisco, and I headed toward TSA with the easy, everyday gait that says I belong. A belt slipped. A bin clattered. Someone apologized to no one. I cleared security and breathed for the first time like this day might behave. It didn't. Near gate A21, a baggage handler in a neon vest, jaw clenched like a locked drawer, hoisted my suitcase onto a cart and froze. He jabbed a finger at the metal plate. "Hey, this looks dangerous." Heads turned. The word dangerous hangs differently in airports. It sticks to walls. It vibrates in chests. "Sir," I began, voice level, "that's a manufacturer's plate. It indicates certified contents for—" He raised his voice. "We're not loading this until security clears it. Step back." He wasn't looking at me. He was performing for the small crowd beginning to tilt our way. A gate agent leaned over the podium, wary. A pilot at the window pretended to be absorbed by the taxiing parade, but I could see the shoulder tension from 30 feet. Two teenagers filmed from behind a pillar, the kind of moment that eats reputations in one bite. I stepped closer to the cart, careful to keep my hands visible. "I can clear it." I turned the plate to catch the light. "See the triangle? That's our ops mark. This is calibration equipment for the LAV service flow meters, sealed under IATA guidelines. The red tag indicates it was logged by facilities last night." I met his eyes. "Who signed it in on your side?" He blinked, sputtered. "We don't take orders from passengers." "Good," I said. "You won't be taking this one from a passenger." My palm flipped the lanyard. The badge faced out. Maya Collins, Director, Operations Integrity. The small hush that followed was the kind of silence only airports make. Thousands of people moving, and still a pocket of stillness finds you. To his credit, he didn't run. He squared himself, eyes darting to the gate agent as if for cover. She stepped out from behind the podium with the careful grace of someone used to sudden weather. "Ms. Collins," she said, soft, like a question she was relieved to have the answer to. "Would you like the station supervisor?" "Please," I said, then lowered my voice for the handler. "What's your name?" "Leon," he muttered. "Leon. I respect caution, but volume isn't a safety procedure." I pointed to the red tag. "Read me the initials." He craned his neck. "FB, 11:43 p.m. "Facilities." "Briggs," I said, more to the agent than to him. He was on the late shift. The math lined up in my head. One calibration case, one late-night LAV service backlog, one early morning flight with a turn already running tight, and one handler yelling dangerous loud enough to brand the air when a quiet question would have solved it in 30 seconds. A boy in a dinosaur hoodie clutched his mother's hand and looked at me like I was about to explode or save the plane. I crouched to his eye level and smiled. "All good, buddy. Grown-ups get loud when they're nervous. We're going to fix it." He nodded solemnly, like I'd knighted him with calm. The station's supervisor arrived with a walk that said he'd put out 3 fires already and had 2 left in him. His nameplate read P. Sanchez. His eyes read tired but fair. "Morning. What's the mess?" "Ops case for lav flow calibration," I said. "Logged by facilities overnight. Misread at the ramp. We're burning minutes." Sanchez examined the plate, traced the engraved code with his thumb, peered at the tamper seal. "Yeah, that's ours." He looked at Leon. "You see the triangle? Means it belongs to us. Means you ask quiet questions, not shout dangerous in front of 50 people and half of TikTok." Leon's face went the color of an oversteeped tea. "I know what you thought," Sanchez said, not unkindly. "We train thought into procedure so we don't have to guess on stage." He turned to me. "We'll get it loaded. Apologies, Ms. Collins." "Let's turn the apology into a drill," I said. 15 seconds. You, me, Leon, and the gate agent. If your crew can ask 3 questions faster than they can raise their voices, we'll buy back the schedule we just sold to Spectacle." Sanchez exhaled that quiet laugh managers make when relieved they won't have to write an email later. "Deal." We ran it. 3 questions. "What's the mark? Who logged it? Where's the seal?" Leon answered each, voice steady now, volume lower, brain in gear. The gate agent timed us on her phone. 12 seconds. The small knot of onlookers softened, interest turning back toward coffee, seats, the gentle choreography of waiting. The pilot by the window finally turned, caught my eye, and tipped 2 fingers in a salute that said thanks without saying thanks. Up close, the bag's scuffs told their own story. Work done at ungodly hours so morning flights don't smell like last night's flights. Invisible wins that no one claps for. As Sanchez rolled the case away, I stood and felt the day shift back onto its rails. The teenager with the phone lowered it, disappointed there would be no disaster to trend on. The dinosaur kid waved like we'd finished a show. I waved back. The gate agent leaned in. "We're tight on pushback. Want me to move you up the aisle to keep eyes on the turn?" "Keep me where I am," I said. "People behave better when they think they're not being watched, and I want to see how your PA lands." She blinked. "My PA? You're about to tell 100 anxious travelers that everything's fine. That's not information, it's theater. Make it honest. Short, specific, calm. They'll follow your breathing." She nodded, swallowed, and picked up the mic. The first note in her voice trembled, then found pitch. "Folks, quick update from the gate. A maintenance case was misidentified. Our teams double-checked, it's cleared, and we're back on schedule. Thanks for your patience." She released the button, eyes wide, as if surprised she'd landed the plane before we even boarded one. "Perfect," I said. "Specific beats scary." Leon lingered at the edge of the carpet, hat in hand. "Sorry," he said, not quite meeting my gaze. "I've had a week." "Haven't we all?" I said. "Next time, lead with a question, not a headline. Headlines can cost us planes." He nodded, a lesson finding a home. Boarding began. People streamed forward in the orderly chaos that airport ropes pretend to tame. I waited, then scanned in with group whatever number never matters, found my aisle seat, and let the muscle memory of flight take over. Bag up, belt on, phone in airplane mode, eyes on the window where runways stitched into distance. Across from me, a man in a collared shirt whispered to his partner, "Did you see that woman fix the whole thing?" I didn't turn. Praise is an accelerant if you let it. I needed steady fuel. As the cabin settled, I opened my notebook. On the first page I wrote, "Gate A21, 3Q drill." Under it, small loud mistakes become big quiet costs. Then a second line, "Find out why facilities had the case on a late log. Problems look different in daylight." The safety demo flowed. Seatbelts clicked. My shoulders dropped a fraction. Then my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. Local area code, clipped tone. "You made a scene. We can't afford auditors on every turn." No greeting, no name. I stared at it, counting the beats between irritation and intent. I typed back, "We can't afford rumors either. Meet me at SFO Gate 72 after arrival. Bring your shift report." The engines gathered themselves. The plane nudged back from the gate. Outside, ground crew held their palms up in that small blessing they give to every departing aircraft. Inside, I set my jaw and chose the day I wanted to live, not the one where loudness wins, but the one where asking the right 3 questions saves us 15 minutes and a headline. We lifted. Atlanta fell away like a grid that had never meant to hold me. Ahead, blue air, a tight schedule, and a station at SFO where someone thought truth and theater were the same thing. They were about to learn the difference. We landed into low Pacific light that made the runways at SFO look like brushed steel. Taxi felt longer than it was. Every minute on the ground is a nickel with wings. When we docked at Terminal 3, the seatbelt chorus clicked off and the aisle became a river with carry-ons for boats. I let the front half empty, then stood, shoulders loose, brain already stepping into the station map. The text pinged again before I cleared the jet bridge. Gate 72, 10 minutes. Still no name. I sent a period back. Whoever they were, they read it. Those 3 dots appeared, then vanished. People who type and delete are often deciding how honest they can afford to be. Gate 72 sits where the terminal opens up into a glassy overlook of the ramp. Out beyond the windows, fuel trucks nosed around like patient beetles, belt loaders clicked into place, and a tug pulled a train of silver bellies that used to be suitcases with vacations inside. I caught my reflection in the glass, badge flipped backward again, and scanned for the voice that thought I'd made a scene. He found me. Late 30s, wind-burned face, neon vest faded from real work, radio clipped to a belt that had seen better loops. He didn't lead with a handshake. He led with a glance over my shoulder, checking if I'd brought a platoon. "Name?" I asked. "Riley," he said. "Ramp lead." "Then you know procedure, Riley." "Why the text?" He exhaled through his nose, a small private sigh. "Because if I go through the front door, the door closes. You lit up a handler in ATL. Now every supervisor is pretending we've got the 3-question drill in muscle memory. We don't. We're patching culture with a PA. I let the words settle. You're not wrong. We turned a teachable into a theater. The drill has to outlive the moment. He jerked his head toward the windows. And we've got another problem. It's not the yelling. It's the hiding. He pointed discreetly to a line of carts parked a few gates down. The nearest one had a red tag curled like a dry leaf. We've got calibration cases that aren't getting logged in real time. Facilities swears they scan them outbound, but they land here without a handoff. Means my guys don't know what they're touching until some YouTuber does. "Come with me," I said. We took the service corridor. Grey paint, scuffed baseboards, the smell of rubber and coffee. In a small glass office near the ramp door, a station admin looked up. I showed the internal barcode on my badge. Her posture changed from gatekeeping to help. "We need yesterday's lav and water logs," I said, "plus the chain of custody for any ops cases that move between midnight and 6 a.m. She tapped, printed, clipped. Paper is supposed to be dead, but it still tells the truth faster than 6 logins. We spread the stack on a metal desk. I traced with a pen. ATL facilities, scan out 2343, case ID LLFLO019. In transit, barcoded to flight 1811, SFO arrival. No receiving scan ramp note. Item staged for follow-up. No initials. "Who touched it?" I asked. Riley cracked his knuckles, not a threat. Nerves organizing themselves. "If there's no initials, it means it lived on the cart. My shift. But I was on the fuel variance call. We've been short a body all week." A knock on the doorframe. A woman with a high bun and a clipboard leaned in. "You pulled the lav logs." Her badge, W-NGO, facilities. She clocked me, then Riley, then the paper. "Good. I've been trying to get someone to care about custody for a month." Riley bristled. "We care. We're drowning and pretending it's swimming." Ngo slid a photo across the desk. A calibration case with its tamper seal peeled halfway, then stuck back like a Band-Aid. That hit my inbox at 0517. Posted to a private forum with our logo in the frame. The caption said we fake seal hazardous items. We don't. But the image beats the truth if we can't tell it faster. I looked up at the ceiling. Domed camera. "Do we have ramp footage?" Ngo nodded. 90-day retention, but it takes an act of Congress to pull it. I outrank Congress here, I said, and didn't smile. 20 minutes later, we were in security review, a windowless room that smelled like carpet glue and impatience. A tech rolled through timestamps until I saw it. Gate 72, pre-dawn. A cart stops. A handler, hood up against the chill, rests a boot on the lower rung and uses both hands to adjust the angle of a red tag on a grey case. He doesn't break the seal. He does, however, cover the ops plate with the tag, so the camera sees red and mysterious instead of marked and mundane. Pause, I said. The frame froze. Zoom. The tech did his best with pixels that didn't want to be helpful. The glove's palm was printed with dots, cheap grip pattern that leaves a signature. On the cart's side panel, a scuff shaped like an apostrophe. Riley let out a low, miserable sound. That's our cart, and I know those gloves. Go crossed her arms. Why cover the plate? Because a covered plate looks like a story, I said. If the morning goes south, someone gets to say they flagged danger. It's loudness as alibi. The room went quiet in that particular way, when a thing becomes undeniable. Name him, I said gently. Gus, Riley muttered. Good worker. Bad month. He's been griping that facilities dump surprises on us. I've been letting him blow off steam. Steam fogs glass, Ngo said. Glass is how we see the job. Riley winced. Owning without flinching is a leadership muscle you don't build at a podium. He had it, even if it hurt. What now? Now we fix 3 things, I said. Chain of custody, the drill, and the story. He nodded. I pointed to the log. First, custody. Facilities scans outbound. Ramp scans inbound within 5 minutes of cart arrival. If the scanner is down, we snap a photo with the timestamp overlay and store it to the shared drive. No more items living on carts. Ngo was already writing the SOP into a template on her tablet. Done. Second, the drill. 3 questions at the cart, not at the podium. Mark, log, seal. We'll laminate it, stick it on every cart and jet bridge desk. You'll role-play it at shift change until people do it in their sleep. 12 seconds buys us 10 minutes. Riley looked 5 pounds lighter just hearing it. I can sell that. Third, the story, I said, tapping the paused frame. We publish our process before someone else publishes this. We don't drag a worker on the internet. We show the plate, the tag, the seal, the scan-in procedure, and the why behind it. Specific beats scary. Ngo nodded slowly, like the click of a safe. We'll get pushback. Someone will say we're revealing security processes. We're revealing accountability. The bad guys can't weaponize a 3-question checklist, but rumor can weaponize our silence. The tech cleared his throat. You want a copy of that clip? No, I said. I want a still of the cart side with the scuff and the timestamp. No faces, no gloves. Then I want a meeting with Gus, with his union rep, on neutral carpet. We found a break room that had seen one too many microwaved fish lunches. Gus arrived with his rep, jaw set, eyes tired. He recognized me, or at least the type I represent. He didn't sit. I didn't break the seal, he said, launching his defense like a plane that can't wait for clearance. I know, I said. This isn't about the seal. It's about the plate you covered. When you make a routine object look suspicious, you give fear a microphone. We can't afford that. Not for passengers, not for you. He stared at the table, then at the still photo I slid across. The cart, the scuff, the timestamp. He flinched at seeing the moment fossilized. I was trying to slow it down, he said. Buy time to ask. We've had stuff dumped on us. I didn't want another surprise on my shift. Then ask, Riley said, palms open. Ask me. Ask facilities. Ask the 3 questions. Don't stage a show. Silence. Then the rep spoke. Balanced and practical. What's the remedy? Coaching and a shift on the drill team for a week, I said. He'll teach what he tried to fake. No write-up if we don't see this behavior again. If the cart lacks a scanner, you page it. No exceptions. Gus exhaled. Okay, I echoed. We're not here to catch you. We're here to keep the plane on time without making the news. The rep nodded. Fair. By late afternoon, we'd walked the drill at 3 gates. The first run was shaky. The second clicked. The third looked like choreography. We taped a laminated mark log seal card on every cart in sight. Ngo pushed the custody SOP through approvals with the speed of a person who knows which inboxes actually get read. I drafted a short internal note for station leads, specific, calm, unpretty. We had a near miss with rumor today. Here's how we'll be louder than fear without raising our voices. As I finally sat near a window with a paper cup of bad coffee that tasted like victory, my phone buzzed one last time. It was the teenager from ATL, the one who'd filmed, DMing a link to his video. He'd captioned it, "Lady saved our flight without yelling. Respect." The clip didn't show my badge, didn't show Leon's face. It showed the red tag, the calm, the tiny nod the pilot had given. The comments, against all social media odds, were kind. I watched the sun slant across a 737's winglet and let the day file itself in my head, not as a battle won, but as a system tuned. Quiet questions over loud headlines, custody over mystery, specific over scary. Somewhere, a PA clicked on. The agent's voice was steady. Practice now. Quick update, folks. A maintenance case has been verified and logged. We're on time. A few passengers looked up, then back down. Their trust restored by sentences that remembered to breathe. On my notebook's next line, I wrote, "Culture isn't a memo. It's a habit." Then I put the pen away because tomorrow would ask for more ink. The following morning began in a conference room that smelled of dry erase markers and jet fuel, the kind of liminal corporate space where decisions are made faster than they're owned. Screens along the wall glowed with metrics, on-time departures, turn times, incident reports, numbers arranged like hymns, waiting for a choir that mostly hummed. I stood at the front, not with a slideshow, but with 3 laminated cards, mark, log, seal. I placed them on the table like playing a hand. Around me, the station managers leaned back in chairs that squeaked under their skepticism. "This isn't a campaign," I said. "It's muscle memory. 12 seconds buys us 10 minutes. 10 minutes buys us a connection. And every connection we save is worth more than a PR patch." One manager, Jensen from Dallas, tapped his pen. "Respectfully, Director, are we making a federal case out of one loud handler? My crews aren't shouting dangerous at every bag." I nodded. "And you don't want them to start. But silence after spectacle isn't neutral. It's permission. The internet's faster than our comms. We can't afford to be slower than rumor." Ngo backed me, her voice sharp enough to cut coffee. "We've got calibration cases photographed with half seals and no logs. That's not theory, it's a leak. If passengers see mystery where there should be procedure, trust erodes. And trust doesn't board planes." The COO, a man who smiled rarely and signed often, raised a hand. "So what's the lift? Every station trains the drill at shift change. Ramp scans inbound within 5 minutes, or logs a photo with timestamp. Gate agents practice PA clarity with supervisors. And when, not if, a mishap surfaces, we publish specifics before someone else publishes fear." Silence stretched. Papers shuffled. Then Sanchez, my weary ally from ATL, leaned forward. 12 seconds is cheaper than 12 headlines. I'll run it." Heads turned, dominoes toppling in the right direction. A few reluctant nods, a couple of scribbled notes. It wasn't applause, but it was buy-in, and buy-in is the currency of habit. By noon, the cards had multiplied, laminated copies pinned to corkboards in break rooms, taped to carts, wedged into clipboards. I walked the ramp at gate 54 and heard a handler mutter "mark, log, seal" under his breath like a mantra. Progress isn't fireworks, it's repetition, but repetition doesn't protect you from betrayal. At 3:17 p.m., my phone buzzed with an alert. A journalist I respected, measured, careful, allergic to clickbait, had posted, "Sources inside major airline allege cover-up of dangerous baggage incidents. Story soon." My stomach dropped. I checked our logs, our feeds, the internal chatter. Nothing. No incidents beyond what we'd already cleaned. Then I opened my personal email. A message from an untraceable address, subject line, scene maker. The body was short. You can train drills all you want, but the truth is louder when it leaks. Stop pretending, or we'll publish what you hide. Attached, a still image of the ATL moment. Leon frozen mid-yell, my badge visible, the crowd staring. Not faked, but not whole either. Cropped to erase the drill, the correction, the supervisor. Framed to make it spectacle without solution. I forwarded it to legal with a note. This will surface. Prep context, not denial. Then I stared out the window at a plane pushing back. Ground crew raising their palms in farewell. Airlines live on perception as much as lift. If the story became dangerous baggage ignored, we'd bleed trust faster than fuel. And someone, inside or close enough to wound, was feeding the narrative. I called Riley. His voice came low, urgent. "We've got a leak." "No," I said. "We've got a choice, leak or publish. They think fear is louder. Let's prove clarity wins the volume war." He hesitated, then, "Tell me what to do. Get your crew. Tonight, we film the drill. Not staged, real. Ops case, red tag, 3 questions. We show the hands, the seal, the timestamp. We make the internet our witness before someone else edits the truth." There was a pause long enough to feel like turbulence. Then Riley said, "I'll have a cart ready." The call ended. I closed my notebook and wrote one line across a clean page. Narrative is lift. If we lose it, we stall. And for the first time I wondered if the enemy wasn't rumor outside, but resistance inside. By dusk, the ramp lights flicked on one by one, small suns against the Pacific twilight. Riley texted, "Cart staged, gate 58, bring your eyes." When I arrived, the crew was already circling. A grey ops case sat on the cart, red tag dangling, triangle plate gleaming under sodium lamps. Ngo stood with her tablet, hair bun even tighter than usual. A junior agent held up a company phone, mounted on a tripod. No edits, no filters, just record and remember. "All right," I said. "We run it real. No speeches, no show, just questions." Riley crouched, gloved hands steady this time. "Mark," he said, tapping the triangle. "Log," asked another, scanning the barcode. "Seal," Ngo confirmed, reading off the tamper line. 12 seconds. Clean, efficient, human. The phone stopped recording. We watched the playback. No drama, no panic, just process. The kind of clip that wouldn't trend, but could inoculate against one that did. "Send it," I said. Ngo uploaded the video to our internal portal with a short note. "For external release if misrepresentation surfaces. Clarity is our oxygen." We didn't have to wait long. By midnight, the journalist posted, "Breaking. Airline sources allege dangerous baggage flagged, ignored." Attached was the cropped still of ATL, Leon's mouth open, my badge sharp, the crowd watching, no context. 2 minutes later, our media team, primed by Ngo, released the clip. Title, "What Actually Happened When a Case Was Flagged." No commentary, just the drill, just the truth. Comments poured in. Why didn't the first clip show this part? 12 seconds, 12 headlines. Honestly, this is how you do it. The tide began to turn. Not triumph, not applause, but balance. And balance is survival in aviation. Then came the visitor. At 9 a.m., I walked into the station office to find a man in a navy suit waiting. Posture crisp. Badge that didn't belong to my airline. Federal Aviation Administration. His eyes scanned the laminated card on the wall, then me. "Director Collins," he said, "we need to talk about your baggage." 3 words in, I knew the fight had shifted. It wasn't about Leon or Gus anymore. It wasn't about one cropped image. It was about whether the FAA believed we were patching procedure with optics. And if they didn't, no laminated card would save us. I gestured to the conference room. "Then let's not waste minutes. Ask your 3 questions." His eyebrow rose, curious, maybe skeptical, but he followed. Inside, the laminated card waited on the table like a silent ally. This time the 3 questions weren't about tags and seals. They were about culture, custody, and whether our fixes lived beyond the cameras. And I wasn't sure the answers would land as clean as the drill. The FAA investigator, badge clipped neat, tie exactly where it belonged, spread a file on the table. My laminated card looked almost childish beside his government folder. But paper is paper. It only carries the weight of who's holding it. "Director Collins," he said, tone clipped but not hostile. "We've seen the cropped clip. We've seen your response. Now we need to know if you've been training procedure or staging theater." The question hit harder than any shout on the ramp, because theater, even unintentional, erodes trust faster than rust eats steel. I leaned forward. "We didn't invent the drill for optics. We distilled it for survival. Ask my ramp lead." Riley entered on cue, vest zipped, gloves tucked in his belt. He sat stiff, hands folded. "It's not a show. We've been running it at shift change. 3 questions. Mark, log, seal. Everyone knows it." The investigator scribbled, not looking up. "Demonstrate." And Go fetched an ops case, reel, logged, sealed. Riley ran the drill, 12 seconds flat, his voice steady as a checklist. The investigator watched, unimpressed but attentive. "Good, but culture isn't one man on his best day. It's the worst day. Who yelled in Atlanta?" "Leon," I said evenly. "We corrected, not punished. He runs the drill now." "And the Tampa Seal photo at SFO?" "Handled. Coaching, documentation, union present." Finally, he looked at me. "You're not hiding it?" "No," I said, "because hiding is louder than admitting. We'll own mistakes, but we'll own the fixes louder." He sat back, considering. The room seemed to hold its breath. Then he closed the folder. "We'll monitor. No violation issued at this time." Relief flooded like air after turbulence. But the reprieve lasted seconds. My phone buzzed on the table. Another anonymous message. "FAA may buy your story. We won't. Next leak drops tonight." Attached, a blurred photo of Riley, cropped to make him look like he was mishandling a case. The investigator caught the notification glow. "Problem?" I slid the phone over. "Bigger than one handler. Someone inside wants us to burn." He frowned, stood, and pocketed his folder. "Then you don't just have a procedural issue, you've got an internal adversary." The door closed behind him. Silence filled the space until Riley spoke, voice low. "It's Gus. It has to be." Go shook her head. "Not his style. He gripes, but he doesn't scheme. This is cleaner, someone who knows how media works." I rubbed my temples. Enemies outside make sense. Enemies inside bleed you slow. Finally, I looked at both of them. "Then tonight, we stop reacting. Tonight, we publish the whole truth, ugly, messy, uncut. Every log, every photo, every timestamp. If they leak a cropped lie, it dies in the flood." Riley's jaw tightened. "That's war." "No," I said. "That's daylight, and daylight wins." By evening, the plan was loaded like a flight ready to push back. Go built the portal page, every custody log, every time-stamped photo, every drill video. No polish, no press spin, just raw receipts. I drafted a header, transparency log, updated daily. Under it, no redactions, no delays. See what we see. At 8:07 p.m., we pressed publish. Within minutes, the page spread. Employees texted screenshots. Passengers retweeted. Even a union account shared it with the caption, "Finally, Airline shows its work." The floodlight worked. Fear lost ground. Then came the fallout. By 10 p.m., anonymous accounts went quiet. The cropped stills vanished. But one new post appeared, this time not on a forum, but in a private Slack workspace that Riley still had access to. A message under a fake name. "Collins thinks daylight saves her. Let's see how she handles shadows." Attached was a blurry selfie. Someone in a break room, vending machine behind them, smirking. Riley forwarded it to me. Go cross-checked vending machine decals against facility maps. 5 minutes later, she had it. Oakland Satellite Station. We drove out before midnight, headlights carving fog. The lot was half empty, only night crews and tired janitors. Inside, the break room buzzed with a vending machine glow. And there he was, not Gus, not Leon. Jensen, the skeptical manager from Dallas, flown west for training. His smirk froze when he saw me. "You," I said softly. He shrugged, too casual. Somebody had to balance the narrative. HQ only listens when the public screams. "You doctored clips. You endangered trust." "I showed reality," he snapped. "One yell isn't a drill, it's culture, and you know it." For a second, I almost respected the warped logic. He wasn't lying about culture. It was fragile, but sabotage wasn't reform. It was arson. Zhou stepped forward, tablet raised. "We have your Slack-handle timestamp IP, don't bother denying." Riley clenched his fists but held. "Why, Jensen? Why burn the house you live in?" Jensen's eyes flashed. "Because nobody fixes rot until the paint peels. You want daylight? I gave you lightning." Silence weighed the room. Then I spoke, voice level. "You're suspended, effective immediately. HR will formalize in the morning, but for now, your access ends tonight." Ngo tapped her screen. Jensen's badge pinged red. Locked out. He tried to laugh, but it cracked halfway. "Good luck. Culture doesn't change with a checklist." I leaned closer. "No, but it starts when people like you lose the microphone." We walked out, the vending machine humming behind us like static. In the car, Riley whispered, "You think that's the last of it?" "No," I said. "But the difference is now we own the narrative. Tomorrow, the FAA, the unions, the press, they'll all see receipts, not rumors." I looked out at the Bay Bridge lights, steady as a heartbeat. Daylight wasn't free. It cost sleep, trust, and maybe even careers. But as the city shimmered in fog, I knew it was worth it. Morning in San Francisco carried the smell of salt and jet fuel. At 9 a.m., I sat in front of the FAA boardroom, glass walls overlooking a tarmac alive with departures, Riley on my right, Ngo on my left. In the folder before me, laminated drills, custody logs, screenshots of our transparency portal, receipts stacked like armor. The investigator from 2 days ago entered with 2 colleagues. He didn't smile, but he didn't frown either. Neutrality is scarier than hostility. You don't know where the wind blows until you feel it on your face. "Director Collins," he began, "we've reviewed both the leaked footage and your public disclosures. We need to know, is this sustainable transparency or a stunt?" I held his gaze. "We didn't publish to win a news cycle. We published because daylight prevents rot. You've seen our logs, every handoff, every tag, every seal. We're not asking for trust. We're proving it." Ngo slid the tablet across the table. "Live demo. Pick any case ID. You'll see the custody record within seconds." They did. The system hummed, simple but undeniable. Time, place, initials. Proof that routine could be a shield instead of a secret. One of the colleagues, younger, tapped his pen. "So if another incident happens tomorrow, then we log it, show it, fix it," I said. "Specific over scary, always." The lead investigator closed the folder. "Continue the program. We'll monitor quarterly. Consider this an official commendation for corrective culture." Relief didn't feel like fireworks. It felt like steady lift after turbulence, the kind you only notice when your shoulders finally drop. Outside, my phone buzzed with 100 messages. Employees forwarding praise, passengers thanking us for honesty, even a cautious nod from the union. But one message froze me. From Leon, the handler who once yelled "dangerous." It read, "Ran the drill with my crew this morning. 12 seconds. Nobody yelled. Thanks for not firing me when you could have." I stared at it longer than I meant to. Growth doesn't trend, but it matters. That evening back at the airport, I boarded a flight east. Business class this time, seat by the window. The same matte grey suitcase in the overhead. Triangle plate catching cabin light. A boy in the row ahead tugged his mother's sleeve. "Mum, that's the safe lady." She smiled at me, embarrassed. I smiled back. "Not safe," I corrected gently. "Prepared." The engines roared. The city shrank. The horizon stretched. I opened my notebook and wrote the final line of this chapter. Culture isn't built by shouting danger. It's built by asking the right questions. Out loud, every day. And for the first time in weeks, I closed my eyes. not to block out the noise, but to rest in the hum of an aircraft that carried not just passengers, but proof.